My advice is simple. Meet your own soul, spend time with yourself, and make friendship with your own being. Too often we run after people's approval, forgetting that the most loyal companion we will ever have is our own heart. If others respect you, walk with them in kindness and gratitude. But if they do not respect you, do not waste your energy proving your worth or begging for their recognition. Your value is not in their eyes. It is in your own self-awareness. Do not let your feelings be destroyed because someone else failed to see your light. You are beautiful inside and out, and that beauty should never be wasted simply because someone else was blind to it. True strength is when you know yourself so deeply that no rejection can shake you, no insult can break you, and no lack of respect can convince you to forget your dignity. Friendship with your own soul means learning to sit in silence without fear, to enjoy your own company without needing validation, and to remind yourself daily, I am worthy, I am enough, I am whole. When you carry this truth within, you will not chase people to stay in your life, because you will know that those who recognize your beauty will stay naturally, and those who do not were never meant to remain. Life becomes lighter when you stop wasting emotions on those who cannot value you. Instead, you turn inward and discover the treasure of self-love, and in that discovery you find a joy no one can take away. So protect your feelings, honor your emotions, and never trade your inner peace for the approval of others. Walk with people in kindness, but never lose yourself for them. You are a masterpiece, created with intention, carrying beauty that deserves to be cherished, not ignored, not wasted. Human beings were not created for sadness. Life itself is proof of this truth. Look at a child when it first enters the world. It does not come crying because it knows sorrow. It cries because it is adjusting to life. But the smile of that same child, the innocence, the laughter, the curiosity, these are the natural states of the human soul. Joy, peace, and calm are our natural homes, while sadness is like a storm we often invite into our own hearts. Most of the time, it is not the world itself that makes us unhappy, but the way we allow people's words and actions to enter us like arrows. Someone says something hurtful, and instead of letting it float away like smoke, we hold onto it tightly, repeating it again and again in our minds until it poisons our peace. The truth is that no word spoken by another has the power to break us unless we give it permission to do so. The real strength of a person is not in controlling what others say, because we cannot, but in controlling how much space we give those words inside us. We all know how often we allow people to disturb our inner world. A single harsh sentence from someone can stay in our mind for hours, sometimes days, and we replay it over and over, making ourselves miserable. But if we look honestly, did that person's voice physically chain us? Did their word actually have the power to crush us? No. What crushed us was our own decision to hold those words inside. to give them weight, to give them a throne in our thoughts. In this way, most of the sadness in life is not an external punishment, but an internal choice. And the most painful part is that we punish ourselves for something we could have ignored. Imagine carrying a heavy stone in your hand. Someone throws it at you, but instead of letting it drop to the ground, you hold it tightly and walk around with it. Hours pass, your hand hurts, your body grows tired, and you start to complain, "Why am I suffering like this?" The truth is simple. You are suffering not because of the stone itself, but because you chose not to release it. Words and people's opinions are the same. We suffer not because they exist, but because we refuse to let them go. We press them to our chest. We carry them into our sleep. We feed them with our energy. And then we wonder why our spirit is tired. The key is to remember that you are not created to be weighed down by stones of sadness. You are meant to walk lightly, with freedom in your soul. Many times, sadness comes because we secretly believe the lie that our worth is in people's hands. If they approve of us, we are happy. If they disapprove, we feel broken. But pause for a moment and think, how unstable is that kind of life? People's moods change like the wind. One day they like you. Another day they criticize you. If you let their shifting voices control your heart, then your happiness will rise and fall like waves in a storm, never steady, never secure. You were not created to live like this. You were created with dignity, with inner light, with a spirit that is meant to remain calm even when the world is noisy. Happiness is not supposed to be a gift given by others. It is a garden that grows from within you, and only you can water it. It is also important to remember that sadness is not always innocent. Sometimes, sadness is self-inflicted pain. It is us choosing to wound ourselves again and again with the knife of other people's words. On the day of judgment, when all our actions are accounted for, we will be asked about the ways we treated our own souls. If God gave us the gift of life, the blessing of peace, and we threw it away by constantly hurting ourselves with unnecessary pain, will we not have to answer for that? 2. Why did you choose sadness when happiness was available? Why did you give so much power to human voices when the voice of truth was calling you to rise above? This thought alone should awaken us. Protecting your own heart is not selfish. It is a responsibility. Just as you are not allowed to harm others unjustly, you are also not allowed to keep harming yourself. We must learn to see sadness for what it really is, often a choice, often a habit. The more we replay hurtful words, the deeper they cut. The more we dwell on disappointments, the larger they grow. But if we train ourselves to step back, to say, this does not deserve space in my heart, we will begin to discover the freedom that has been waiting for us all along. Think of your heart as a home. Would you invite someone who constantly insults you, spits on your floor, and breaks your furniture? to live in your house? Of course not. Then why do we invite negative words and memories to live rent-free in the home of our soul? Your heart is precious, too precious to be used as storage for other people's cruelty. Clean it, protect it, guard it. Fill it with hope, gratitude, and love, because these are the guests that make your home beautiful. Happiness is not something distant. It is already near us, but it hides behind the walls we build with sadness. Each time we let go of a painful thought, we remove a brick from that wall. Each time we forgive ourselves for being human, we let light come through. Each time we remind ourselves, I am not what others say, I am. More, we bring back the joy that was never lost, only buried. Life is too short to keep giving people the keys to our emotions. Imagine wasting years of life being upset about what someone once said, when you could have been laughing, loving, creating, and living in peace. The truth is that most people forget their own words after speaking them, but we continue to hold them like scars. Why? Because we think our value depends on them. But your value was written the day you were born. It does not rise or fall with opinions. Sadness will knock at every door, but you do not have to invite it in. People will always talk. Some will encourage, some will discourage. That is human nature. But your nature, your original design, is not meant for constant sorrow. Look at how the human body heals. If you cut your hand, the skin begins to close, to rebuild. Your body does not want to stay wounded. It fights to return to wholeness. In the same way, your soul is designed to heal, to seek peace. But healing only happens if you allow it. If you keep reopening the wound by replaying the past, healing cannot take place. You have to let go. You have to stop pressing on the bruise. Peace is possible the moment you decide not to harm yourself anymore. And remember this, joy is also a responsibility. Smiling, being thankful, and living with lightness is not only for you, but for the people around you. Your peace becomes their peace. Your calm becomes their calm. When you choose not to take hurtful words to heart, you not only protect yourself, you also spread kindness. Your family feels it. Your friends notice it. Even strangers are lifted by it. On the other hand, when you bury yourself in sadness, you spread that heaviness to others. 2. This means that choosing happiness is not selfish. It is an act of love for everyone who shares life with you. So the next time someone says something that stings, pause and ask yourself, do I really want to carry this? Do I want to give them the power to control my inner world? Or do I want to let it go, breathe, and keep walking in peace? The answer is always yours. No one can force you to be sad, just as no one can force you to be joyful. It is your choice every day, every moment. And when the final account of life is given, we will not only be asked about what people did to us, but about how we responded. Did we protect our hearts, or did we abandon them? Did we choose to live in light, Or did we insist on living in shadows? These are questions worth thinking about. The beauty of life is that happiness is always within reach. It does not depend on wealth, status, or praise. It depends only on the strength to say, I will not let sadness be my master. I will not let words define me. I will not waste this short life punishing myself for what does not matter. I was created for peace, for love, for freedom, and that is the life I will live. Human beings are taught from the very beginning that love is the most powerful force in life. And the very first love that a person must learn is the love for one's own self. To love yourself means to respect your soul, to care for your body, to honor your emotions, and to recognize your worth. It means to treat yourself kindly, not with harsh criticism, and to understand that you too are valuable, deserving of peace, joy, and purpose. Self-love is not arrogance, and it is not selfishness. It is simply acknowledging that you are a creation of value, a soul, placed in this world with intention, and that you should take care of yourself just as you would take care of someone you love deeply. But with this truth comes a great responsibility, and that responsibility is to never build your happiness on the suffering of another human being. Real love for yourself is never about stepping on others, never about ignoring their pain, never about using someone else's tears as the foundation of your laughter. Happiness that comes by hurting others is never true happiness. It is temporary, shallow, and eventually it will return to you as regret, emptiness, or guilt. If you love yourself in the purest and healthiest way, you will find joy without needing to break anyone else's peace. Too often in life, people confuse self-love with selfishness. They think loving themselves means they must always put themselves first, even if that means causing harm to others. But that is not true self-love. It is insecurity in disguise. True self-love is balanced. It lifts you without lowering someone else. For example, working hard to achieve your dreams is an act of self-love, but stealing someone else's credit or chances is selfishness. Taking care of your body is self-love, but shaming someone else's body for your satisfaction is cruelty. Choosing relationships that bring you peace is self-love, but abandoning someone carelessly or using them for your gain is heartlessness. A person who truly loves themselves will never deliberately put another person into pain, because they know that pain always travels back. Life is a circle. What you give will eventually come around. When you hurt others for your happiness, you are planting seeds of sorrow in your own garden. And one day those seeds will grow into thorns that will hurt you. On the other hand, when you protect others from pain while protecting your own happiness, you are planting seeds of peace, and those seeds will grow into flowers that surround your life with beauty. We must remember that the world is deeply connected. Every heart carries its own struggles, its own silent battles, its own prayers. When you decide to take your happiness at the cost of another's peace, you are ignoring the value of their soul. And what kind of love is it if it makes someone else cry? A joy that is purchased with someone's tears is not joy at all. It is a borrowed mask that eventually slips away. Imagine climbing to the top of a mountain by pushing others down. You might reach the peak, but when you look back, all you will see is the pain you left behind. And instead of pride, your heart will carry shame. On the other hand, imagine climbing that mountain step by step with your own strength, encouraging others as you go. When you reach the top, the happiness you feel will be pure and your heart will be light. That is the difference between selfish happiness and true self-love. Another important truth is that people who cause others pain for their own joy do not truly love themselves either. If you loved yourself, you would not poison your heart with cruelty. If you respected yourself, you would not lower your dignity by stepping on another's soul. Hurting others for gain may look like power, but it is actually weakness, because it shows that you could not rise on your own. You needed to pull someone down just to stand tall. True strength, true self-love is standing tall by lifting yourself up without making someone else fall. Think of a lamp. Its light brightens the room without stealing light from another lamp. That is how your happiness should be. It should shine without dimming another person's glow. There is also a responsibility in self-love. When you choose yourself, you must do so with compassion. It is perfectly okay to walk away from people who treat you poorly, but do it with grace, not cruelty. It is perfectly okay to set boundaries to protect your peace, but do it without hatred. It is perfectly okay to say no, to rest, to take care of yourself, but do it without making others feel worthless. Love yourself enough to stay away from what hurts you, but also love yourself enough to never become the source of hurt for someone else. Your happiness should inspire others, not destroy them. Your journey should be an example of balance, not a warning of selfishness. Think for a moment, what kind of happiness do you really want? The kind that feels heavy because it was bought with someone else's suffering? Or the kind that feels light because it was found honestly, peacefully, without harming anyone? The truth is, only the second type of happiness lasts. The first type may give you a moment of excitement, but the guilt or emptiness will follow you. And no matter how much you try to silence it, your soul will know that you were unfair. That is why people who step on others to get ahead never find true peace. They're always restless, always trying to prove themselves, always haunted by the weight of the hearts they hurt. But those who love themselves in a pure way sleep peacefully, because they know their joy does not carry anyone else's tears. Self-love also means accountability. When you hurt others, you are responsible not only to them, but also to yourself. You cannot claim to love yourself while feeding your soul with poison. You cannot claim to respect yourself while carrying the guilt of harming another. To truly love yourself is to choose paths that bring you pride, not shame. It is to build happiness on a foundation of kindness, not cruelty. When you look in the mirror, you should be able to smile and say, I did not harm anyone to get here. That is real success. That is real self-love. At the end of the day, remember this. Your heart and someone else's heart are both precious. Your joy and someone else's joy both matter. Loving yourself does not mean forgetting others. It means balancing your happiness with compassion. Life becomes truly beautiful when you can look after your own peace without disturbing the peace of others. When you can choose yourself without abandoning kindness. When you can rise without making others fall. That is the kind of self-love that brings real joy, joy that grows, joy that heals, joy that lasts. So love yourself. Take care of your soul. Celebrate your life. Protect your peace. Chase your dreams. But never, ever think that you must hurt someone else to achieve it. Happiness is never built on another's tears. The sweetest joy is the one that comes without regret, the one that comes without guilt, the one that comes with it. Knowledge that you remained kind while remaining strong. Love yourself enough to choose that kind of happiness, and love yourself enough to never lose your humanity.